Good evening. I'm Linda Stone, and I will be chairing our Finance Committee meeting this evening. A nice short meeting, I believe. It's December 4th, and we're starting this meeting a little later than usual, 8 o'clock. And I will start with roll call to my left.
That's you, Ed.
Jessica Binda, Supervisor of Facilities.
Tony Rapp, Director of Business Administration.
Andy Sanko, Superintendent. Joe Hidalgo, School Board.
Michael Roosevelt, School Board.
Ann Horner, School Board.
Jim Green, School Board.
Nicole Khan, School Board.
Christian Ola, IT Department.
Cheryl Rickert, School Board.
Tracy Osecki, School Board.
And I will turn over the meeting to Mr. Tony Rapp.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. A reminder that for the most accurate and reliable information concerning our district, please refer to resources, websites, and social media platforms managed by the Council Rock School District. We advise the community to exercise caution when relying on the accuracy of social media and ask the community to verify any social media contact with the district for accuracy. If you question what you are seeing, need a fact check or additional details on a matter, please reach out to the district directly. Our contact information is readily available on our website at www.crsd.org. Our agenda for tonight is a two-item agenda. We're going to welcome Kevin Karpik from Cornerstone to give us our quarterly investment update. And a second item on our agenda is to approve the Homestead Farmstead 2526 agreement with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit. So to start with, we're going to go to Kevin, welcome him to give us a presentation on our investments. Eric, Butcher.
Yep, you're good.
All right, well, thank you all very much, and I should say this every time I come down, but Mr. Tate in prior meeting mentioned now's the time of to give thanks, and you know, as always, at Cornerstone we appreciate this relationship a lot. You know, it was one of the first pieces of business we did in the municipal cash management business, which has grown about tenfold since we started working together. And Cornerstone now, and for those of you who may not know, we're based up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I'm a 1997 grad of Council Rock. That's long enough ago. I don't have to say which high school because there was only one. But Cornerstone just recently crested $10 billion in assets under management. So again, we're thanking all of our clients and we appreciate it. And you know, I'll tell you, we have good news tonight in terms of activity. And the flip side is, I will say this is about one of the weirdest economies we've seen in a long time, and we've certainly worked through. Just to cover a couple of the numbers and this is just for we'll look at the bottom line here, for the fiscal year to date, which is only the first quarter, the general fund income is about 1.1 million. And we'll look at a chart in a second to remind you that this is historically when, at the very beginning of the fiscal years, when cash is at its lowest. So, and you can see that and we'll look at the aggregate portfolio, there's about 105 million worth of beginning market value of cash between bond proceeds, operating funds, and some of these other miscellaneous funds. And over the quarter, about 180 million came in deposits, and we ended at about 219 million. So that 1.1 million, you know, this quarter we're expecting just for the quarter to make about 2 to 2.5 million because the rates have stayed up higher than the market may have been concerned about, but also on a higher base here. What you can see here is the Treasury yield curve, and you know, again, for cash management purposes, we're really looking at that like 1 month to no more than 2 years, and you can see at the very short end from the beginning of 2025 till 9/30, the Fed has cut rates. And it is expected that they will continue to cut rates moderately over the coming months. Here, and we'll look at a chart in a second, the market at this point is pretty much guaranteed that, or the market feels guaranteed that we're gonna get a rate cut here in December. But I think when you look out here to the 1 year and 2 year, which reflect kind of where the market thinks the Fed's gonna go, I would just remind everybody that for a long time, interest rates were zero, right? If we were making 0.25% on our cash, that felt like a good deal. We don't expect that to come back anytime soon, short of something significantly bad happening in the economy. So while we talk about rates coming down, we're talking about a handful of cuts not coming down to 1% or sub 1% anytime soon. This is kind of an interesting chart because this is as of November 17th, and what you're looking at here is a probability that the Fed was going to cut rates in the December meeting. Just a couple weeks ago, the market said, we don't think they're gonna cut. But I would say that I would remind everybody in the middle of November, we had very few actual numbers from the government because of the shutdown. And the numbers that have come out since have been supportive of a cut. So at this point, we do expect a 25 basis point cut. And then when we look out at closer to the end of this fiscal year in 2026, you know, we expect there to be 2 to 3 rate cuts. There will be a regime change at the Fed coming up here. It should be announced early in January where Chairman Powell's term has expired. We'll see how that plays out. You know, one of the things we've shared with you before is not necessarily for this account, but just the economy in general and financial markets in general is the importance of the independence of the Fed, of not being overly politicized and trying to counterbalance, you know, some fiscal stimulus when necessary. But I will say each of the depositors, and for those of you, just as a reminder, we do have several different institutions who hold the district's money. All of them are top rated and have collateral and backup and security, but regardless, we do want to be diversified there. And then I mentioned here what we do each year's, or what we do regularly is kind of track the total general fund level for the district. So you can see there are these peaks and valleys here. We are near the peak, which is what I was mentioning with having income, you know, this current quarter and the fourth quarter of the calendar year is typically one of the highest income earning months or earning quarters. So we're very comfortable with the allocation of the funds. We have back a couple months ago, maybe after, I believe it was after the last time I was here, we did lock in some rates with about $20 million just to say, you know, we know for 1 year we locked in at 4%, and the rest of the funds are tied to overnight rates. So I know that was more detail than I normally give, but I did want to just you know, make sure that we all have kind of the moving parts here. So with that, I will ask if there are any questions or thoughts.
So can you just review again? So we're looking at 1.1 million in earnings on our general fund for this quarter, previously ended quarter, July through September?
Yep.
And what did you say you're anticipating for this upcoming quarter also?
Between 2 to 2.5 million.
Okay.
So still targeting, you know, again, if the Fed was to cut rates significantly soon, we would come up short of this, but we're still expecting somewhere in the $6.5 to $7 million type range for the fiscal year.
We're not we won't get a rate cut through until December, till the end of this year, rather?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
In a couple of
we
weeks?
expect, Yeah. And just for a little historical perspective, it wasn't long ago where in December, Chairman Powell came out and mentioned, it was 2018, I believe, he mentioned that he was gonna keep rates higher longer and keep money tight, and the market dropped about 25% in the week, in the fourth quarter. So, we do think he's gonna follow the market here and cut rates and just move on from there.
Yeah. Mr. Green?
What's the composition of some of these general funds? Like, I see bonds here and T-bills, but do you have any other instruments that you're investing in?
Yeah, so actually where you see these are actually the bond proceeds from Council Rock issuing bonds. So Wilmington Trust, we own individual bonds. TD, that's a bank account that's backed by the Federal Home Loan Bank. Liggett, the general fund, has mainly treasuries and some commercial paper underneath. And then the TD compensating balance is tied to the other TD funds. So in school district or in municipal cash investing, but especially in school districts, we are limited to the very top level. We could, and we should, and I would be happy to walk anybody, certainly not at 8:30 at night, no one wants to hear it, but we do have an investment policy that allows us to buy commercial paper, for example, with the superintendent's approval. We don't do that just because the 2 to 10, the 0.2 or 0.02 to 0.1 pickup in yield doesn't make sense for the risk. And I always say this because it's kind of shock factor, but back in 2007, we could have bought Lehman Brothers commercial paper. That would have been totally legal, not totally fine. So that's why we just say we're going to own treasuries and we're going to be backed by the government. And it's really a matter of when do we stretch out the rate, when do we buy bonds a year or two out rather than trying to get risky.
Okay. So the investment policy is that there's no stocks invested in.
Oh, no, the
That's
district
totally-
is not allowed to.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any other questions? Mr. Harper, thank you
All
again.
right, well,
Thank you.
And
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Sorry to start so late.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is the 25-26 Homestead Farmstead Agreement. So this is an agreement with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit. We're required as part of the whole budget process to send out notices to homeowners in the district who do not have a homestead exclusion, and basically an application for the homestead exclusion. What the homestead exclusion is, that's money that we get from the state. We get a total amount, we divide that by the number of homestead exclusions, and we reduce people's taxpayers' real estate tax bills by that amount. So, but we do receive that money from the state. We just don't, it doesn't increase our, it's not an additive revenue, it's a replacement revenue for real estate taxpayers in the district. For the homeowners who just moved in or who haven't filled out the application, we're required by law to mail that out. The district contracts with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit to mail this out for us because it has an economy of scale that the more that they're able to do a lot of school districts in the county for a lot less than it would cost us to do it ourselves. So, but by doing multiple school districts, they save all the school districts money. The exclusion notices get printed out in December. The cost is 90.6 cents per parcel. That's 0.17, 17 cents greater than the prior year estimated cost. And the total estimated cost for 24-25 is $6,417.15 for 7,162 parcels.
Any questions? We're good?
That's the last agenda item. The two upcoming agenda items is to fund the construction projects that we're working on working with PFN. Just got some draw schedules from our construction managers to put together a schedule for borrowing. We only want to borrow each year the amount that we need to fund the construction projects. That affords us the ability to keep our interest low, and that we're only borrowing what we need, so that as more debt opens up, we're replacing old debt with new debt, but we're not taking on additional debt right now. And the second thing is, as part of the tax, as part of the budget process, next month we will have to we'll ask you to pass a resolution that we do not plan to raise taxes any more than the Act 1 index, which is 3% this year for the Council Rock School District. So we have to pass that in January, ask you to pass that in January so we can upload it to the state by January 29th. And that's what we've got coming up in the next month. And that is the end of the Finance Committee.
This year's Act 1,
3.0%.
that's the what we're operating in.
That's, we're not allowed to raise, we can't raise taxes above that without a referendum or a exception.
And when will we get the new index for the next?
Oh, this year's index is 4%. And
Right, so it's 4, and then is 3 is already, that's the number that's approved?
yeah. But yes, so.
Thank you. And Tracy?
Sorry, when, just remind me, when do we start to look at the budget?
We're,
I don't mean to I'm not trying to put pressure on you, I need to see it, I'm just remind me what month that is.
we're working on trying to get it to you by February, get you at least something preliminary, start talking about it in February.
We're working on it internally now.
Yeah, there's a lot of work going into that. I was in meetings with curriculum all week, so.
Good job.
Any other questions? Then this meeting is adjourned, and we will move on to the facilities meeting.